Hello again. Welcome back. I'm Joy and this is my channel Yoga with Joy. So this is day 3. So it's all about our hips, opening and releasing our hips. Just such a lovely thing to be doing. So just stay kind of grounded with it. It can be quite emotional, the releasing of the hips. It's just something that happens with most people, or a lot of people, is that feeling of releasing of emotion or kind of stuck energy when we practice hip openers and things like that. Just enjoy the practice. Just remember your intention. We'll be setting intention at the beginning, and you can carry that through for today and the whole week. And welcome to being alive. This is rediscovering that we're alive and that we're connected to all beings, including our own body. How wonderful. Grab any props you might need. Namaste and see you on the mat.
I am part of this. I am alive. I am welcome and connected. Oh, oh, oh. I am part of this. I am alive. I am welcome and connected.
So make yourself comfortable. So cross-legged or kneeling or however you want to sit. You can use a cushion or anything like that, block. And we'll start by centering. Bring yourself into the space. Just check in with how you're feeling today. Check in with how you're sitting. So aligning the heart up with the hips, the head up with the heart. And inhaling, lengthening from the crown of the head, and exhale, gently softening. Setting our intention for today. So it might be the same as the past 2 days and the same for the whole week, or finding yourself a new intention for today for this practice. Inviting that intention to guide you through the practice and through into your week and your life ahead. And we'll ground that intention with our Om vibration, chanting it once together. Om. And then gently opening your eyes. Hello. And finding your way down onto the mat, so that your feet are hip width apart and your knees are placed on the mat. Your feet are placed on the mat and your knees are hip width apart as well. And let's bring the knees into the chest and have a little rock around, stretching our back. And then bringing the right knee in, and you could stretch out the left leg, unless it feels like it's pulling on your back too much. Then you can loosen it and place the foot on the mat and the knee facing the ceiling. So if you are stretching out your left leg, flex the left foot, give yourself a nice strong leg, and exhale, drawing in the right knee into the chest. Lovely, that's good. Every exhale, you're drawing in. Every inhale, there's a softening back. And then gently opening up the hip. Exhale, open. So placing the left hand on the left hip to stabilize, and then opening up the right knee. So you're bringing the hip open, and then you're resting your right elbow on the ground and holding your knee. This is the Parshva version. Parshva is sideways. So you're opening up sideways. And then exhale, the knee back to center. And then changing sides, you're putting your right hand on top of the left knee. I've shifted my hips a little bit over to create a bit more space. And your the left hand on the right knee. I don't know if I said that. And then the right hand is behind you. So stretching out the hip here. This is the Parivrtta, so that's the revolving, the twisting version of this. And if you can, your head is looking over at your right arm or hand. Ideally, your right shoulder isn't leaving the mat. So see how that is. See how far your body wants your leg to move over. And then gently bring yourself back up and bring your knee up. So you've got your both knees up, and then bringing your right ankle over to the left thigh like we done the first day, and then bring your hands behind, coming into the leg cradle again. So exhale. Draw the legs into the body. So you've got your right hand in between your legs, flexing your feet, or at least your right foot you're flexing. Good. Okay. And then releasing down and stretching out your legs, and just take a moment to feel the difference in the legs, the difference in the hip. There'll be probably you'll be feeling some difference in your right hip right now. And then lifting up the knees and bringing the left knee into the chest. So you can either stop here with your right knee up or lengthen the leg, but you'll have to do that anyway with the twist. So lengthen the leg and flex the right leg. Exhale the left knee into your body. Deep, strong breaths. Fantastic. That's great. And then placing the right hand on your hip, opening up your left hip, so resting the left elbow on the mat or the floor, and then opening up the hip with your hand on the knee. Breathing into your hip. And then bringing your knee back up and then over. So this is the Parivrtta. So you might want to shift your hips like I'm doing over, so you've got a little bit more room to twist. So keeping your left shoulder on the mat and the left arm is stretched out. You're using your right hand on the top of the left knee, and you're looking over at your left arm. Gentle breaths, lovely. Wonderful. So then bringing your knee back up, planting your feet onto the mat, realigning your hips, and then bring your left leg and placing your left ankle over your right thigh, and your left hand is going between your legs and then clasping behind the right thigh. Okay, exhale. drawing your legs in. That's fantastic. Lovely, strong breaths. And then bringing your legs down. And then taking a moment, sliding your legs out. And feel how that is. It's feeling like you're maybe a little bit more even now in your hips and your legs. And then bringing the knees into the chest and have a little rock. So bring put your hands behind your knees and rocking. And bring yourself back up to seated. Fantastic, that's great. Okay, so we're going to bring the feet together and come into Barakanasana. So we'll bring the heels quite close, so we're in cobbler, or sometimes it gets called butterfly. And holding the feet, and then gently exhaling, folding forward. Feeling the stretch here. Strong, deep breaths, inhaling, lengthening, exhale, soften. Wonderful. Softening with every exhale. And then begin to move your body back up. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, round the back. One more time. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, round the back. That's wonderful. Great. Okay, so we're going to come into hero pose, or Vajrasana, and you're bringing your feet on the outside edge of your hips. So we're stretching out your quads here, but we're closing the hips. So it's a wonderful hip posture as well, because you're doing a hip closing exercise. So I'm going to turn here, so it might be easier for you to see. So lifting up, and this might be enough. Might be enough with your hands here. It's strong. So it might also, you might not want to do this, you might just want to be kneeling. So if you're just kneeling, that's fine. But if you want to and you can bring yourself back to here. Or bring yourself down, so you're coming onto your forearms. Or if you want to do the full expression of this posture, I actually don't do this so well. You've got to make sure that your knees are still together. So your thighs are still together and your knees are kind of on the mat. See, for me, I can feel that they're lifting a little bit. And it's a bit strong on my lower back. So just be careful. So come to wherever is comfortable. And gently bring yourself back up if you're already down. And then coming onto your knees. And rocking forward into cat. So your knees underneath your hips and your hands are underneath your shoulders. We'll start by doing the figure eight of our hips again. So we're moving the hips like we're drawing an 8 on the side, or an eternity symbol. And then the other direction. So try and change the motion the other way. That's great.
Okay, bringing the hips to stillness. And then draw out the right leg and just rock back on the right leg. So you're rocking back on your toes. Deep, strong breaths. Remember the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath. It's like the ocean, a bit like a gentle snoring sound. Slight constriction of the back of the throat. And then bring your leg, the right leg, on the outside edge of the hands. Inhale forward, exhale back into the hip stretch. Inhale forward, exhale back. Breathing in, exhaling. Nice. And then inhaling forward. And then we're going to open up a little bit. So you can either stay where you are, or you can heel toe out the right foot so that you bring it a little bit more open and then turn out the right foot. So that's a big stretch there. I'm going to bring mine in because it stretches my hip a little bit too much. So just feel how it is for you. You might want to open up and we're going to come down into lizard. So you either stay here, taking breaths here, or if you can and want to, you're coming down into the lizard posture and you can make a mudra with your hands. So this is you've got your palms together and you're opening up your hands and you're placing your thumbs onto your third eye area between your brows, your eyebrows. Deep, steady breaths. Breathing into the hip, opening up the hip. Remember, you can still be up here, and that's really strong for a lot of people. In fact, it's really strong for me. And then gently bring yourself up. There's a lot of feeling and energy when you're opening up your hips. And then we'll bring this right leg underneath. So we're coming into Pigeon Kapotasana. So remember, you can always use props. So you can put a blanket underneath your right hip. That's a good modification. Lots of people use that one, so you're not kind of rocking over if you need it. And then inhale, lifting up, opening up the chest, soften your shoulders. And then exhale, folding forward. So you might just want to come down to here. You might want to use the mudra again, that's lovely. Or you could use your fists, or a block or anything, or you could come all the way down. Breathing in. And exhale. Gentle, lovely, slow breaths. Really feel into the hip. It can be an area where we store a lot of emotion in our hips. And we release the piriformis and some releasing of the psoas muscle, or our glutes around the outside of our hips. And then gently bring yourself up, opening the chest, stretching the back leg, so you're lifting up the back knee. Inhale, facing forward, and then exhale, bringing yourself back into the cat with your hands below the shoulders and knees below the hips. Inhale, breathing in, stretching up, upward cat. Exhale, downward facing cat. Inhale, upward cat. Exhale, lifting up, all up under your pelvic floor and your tummy muscles. Inhale. Exhale. Lovely. And then coming back to stillness, and then bringing your left leg out and rocking back on your left toes. Slow, deep breaths. And then bringing your left foot on the outside of your hands. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. Lovely stretch of the hip and stretch of the legs. Inhale forward, and then we're going to come into the lizard. So stay where you are, like I'm going to, or you can heel toe your foot out, or just bring your foot pointing outwards and opening up the hip, or even wider. It really depends on how you're feeling with your hip and how your hip is. So that can be quite nice. So either staying here, that might be enough, or you could come down and do the mudra again. So your thumbs are in at your third eye. Breathing into your hip, releasing. Feeling the deep release. Knowing that this is as much as you might need right now. Releasing your hip can be pretty intense. And then gently lifting yourself back up if you're down, or bring your leg in if it's been out. Inhale, and then exhale, bringing your hip in. So your leg in underneath your hips and your belly. So I didn't say this last time, but if you're the stronger stretch you would like, you bring your shin up towards, so that it becomes parallel with the mat. Otherwise, if it needs to be less, your heel will be in more at the groin. So it just really depends. I'm about halfway. I don't do it full stretch. So remember, you can be using a blanket or block underneath your left hip. Lots of people do that. So inhale, lifting, and then exhale, folding forward, however far you want to go. Remember, you could be using the mudra or stacking. Gentle opening. Feeling any emotions that might be arising. Remembering your intention. Remembering that this is your time. Inhale, opening up the chest. And then turning around the toes, and so you've got a nice straight long leg. And then exhale, bringing yourself back into the cat. Inhale and exhale. Inhale up, and then exhale back into child. So this time let's just come back without our hips open for a moment. And bring yourself back into child, just to be inward for a moment again. Stretching out the hands, turning around the toes, and then coming back to half downward dog. Lifting up your mula bandha, pelvic floor, and your belly, creating a bit of space. Lifting up into tiptoes on all fours. Not all fours, sorry, in a cute dog with straight legs. Making it up now. And then exhale the heels down. You can walk out this downward dog. So lift up into three-legged dog, stretching up, stretching your right leg up, and then opening up the hip so that your right heel is going back towards your buttocks, and your right knee is pointing to the side of the room. And then if you can, you're sweeping, somehow getting your leg forward so that you're in a lunge. So either you can lower the knee down and come into a low lunge, or you can stay in high lunge and bringing yourself up here into a nice high lunge position. And opening up the arms, so you're in crescent lunge, prana mudra. Lovely deep breaths. Fantastic. So if you'll notice you're scrunching your toes into the mat, then loosen your toes. Your knee is over your ankle, and you've got a strong back leg with the energy coming up from the back of your heel. And bring the hands back to the heart, and then placing the back foot down. So bring yourself forward and standing at the front of your mat. We're going to bring the right leg so that you're resting the right ankle over the left thigh, just above the knee. So it's like we're in number 4 legs again, so like the leg cradle. This is a balance, so you're planting your left leg and holding your hands at the heart, just being really careful of your lower back. Find an eye gaze that is going to support you, holding your abdominal muscles and your pelvic floor, so really lifting them up. It's strong. So it's a hip opener, it's also a balance. Soft shoulders and face muscles. And then if you can, either release, or if you can, you'll just fold forward for a moment. So it's a strong, it's a bit like pigeon, isn't it? It's a strong one, but just only if you can, otherwise you've released down already. And then releasing the leg down, feet hip width apart, coming forward, Uttanasana. Opening up the feet and coming into squat. So your feet are near the edge of the mat, your hands are in at the heart, so you've got your mudra, your Anjali mudra at your heart center area, and you can use your upper arms to open up the hips a little bit more. If you need to, blocks are really good here. If you're finding that you need some like high heels, wedges to stay up. So if you need them, they're really helpful. And then releasing down back into cat, upward facing cat, downward facing cat, upward cat, opening up the knees, touching the toes, and back into child. Inhale, looking forward, turning the knees so that they're hip width apart, turning the toes around, half downward dog, lifting up into an acute dog, and exhale down into the full expression of downward facing dog. Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Lift up your left leg and then drop the heel back towards your hips. Open up the left hip so that your knee is going to the side of the room. And then sweep through your left leg. And you can keep your knee down if you want to and put a blanket under it or something like that. Otherwise you stay up, you're coming up, hands on hips, hands to heart. Remember, knee over ankle, soft toes, soft left toes. Strong back leg, really feel the energy moving out through the back leg. Open up, Prana Mudra. Remembering your intention. Remember you're alive. You're welcome. You're connected. You're part of this being human experience. And then bring the hands to the heart. And then gently moving the back leg, the right leg, so that you've got hip width apart and you're down in Uttanasana. Forward fold. And then bringing your left leg, so now's the balance, so planting your right leg and your left leg is coming over the top, so left ankle on right thigh. I'm cheating, I've got this as the balance. It's naughty. Look, I've got an extra prop, it's cool. Okay, so left ankle on right, just above the right knee. Bring the hands to the heart. Protect your lower back if you need to. If you need to be at a radiator or something like that, or something, hold at a wall, please do. Strong balance. Bringing in your abdominal muscles, lifting up your mula bandha, your pelvic floor. Drishti, so don't forget your eye gaze, your drishti. Keeping it somewhere steady. And if you either release now, if it's too much for you, if you've had enough, and then bring yourself forward if you'd like a bit extra. Stretching, folding forward. And then releasing the leg down if you haven't already, bringing your feet out to the side, and then coming into the squat. That's great. And then releasing yourself down and find yourself back into the cat. Inhale, upward cat. Exhale, downward cat. And then rolling over from seated and then back down onto your back. Oh, so nice. Okay, that's great. My hips feel really open. I don't know about yours. Really stretched. And just take a moment here to enjoy the strong feeling in the hips. And then draw the knees into the chest and bring the hands onto your knees and rocking your knees together and away from each other. Exhale together. Inhale away. Lovely, gentle breaths. And then the other direction. So you're making circles with your knees. They come together and they go away from each other. And then bringing the legs up and your feet up so you're coming into happy baby. Have a little rock from side to side. This is a nice hip stretch as well, and stretching out your lower back. Then bringing the feet, if you can, you're bringing your hands, your peace fingers onto your big toes and a wide leg stretch. Otherwise, just put your hands inside your thighs. Bringing the hands on the knees again, and then placing your feet down onto the mat and coming down into Shavasana. Making yourself warm with socks and a jumper or anything like that. Put a blanket on top of you, maybe even an eye mask. And just feeling yourself completely rested, right from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. Completely held and supported by the mat and by the earth beneath the mat. Whole body is relaxed. Remembering your intention for the day or for this week. And then gently lifting up the knees, planting the feet, rolling over to your side. Begin to move yourself up into seated again. Finding your comfortable seated position. Let's chant the Om vibration just once and finish with Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bringing the hands to Namaste, heart. Lifting up Prana Mudra. Some deep breaths here. And then hands above the head, Namaste. I am alive, I am welcome and connected. You are part of this experience of being human. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. See you tomorrow.
Join the celebration, singing